and welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and for this episode I'm joined by Andrew Burashko. Andrew formed Art of Time Ensemble in 1997, and I spoke to him a couple of years ago for episode 52.
Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely in. Lift me like an olive branch and be
Art of Time have now recorded a collection of Leonard Cohen tracks. Recorded live in 2018, the tribute featured 15 Canadian authors and poets, many of whom knew Cohen personally.
Let me see your beauty when the witnesses are gone.
Andrew's deliberately chosen some less known Leonard Cohen tracks, as well as some of the familiar ones.
Show me slowly what I only know, the limits.
What you're listening to now is Dance Me to the End of Love, sung by Sarah Harmer and arranged by Stephen McKinnon.
Dance me to the end of love.
I hope you enjoy listening to my conversation with
Dance
Andrew.
me to the wedding now. Dance me on and on. Dance me very tenderly and dance me very long. Both of us beneath our love, we're both of us above. And dance me
Hi, Andrew.
to the
Hi, Hilary. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Can't believe it's been 2 years since I last spoke to you.
Amazing, isn't it?
Crazy. Okay, let's talk about the Leonard Cohen album, which was recorded live before all of this started.
Yep, it was recorded live in February of 2018.
Right. So did you intend it to come out sooner than this?
No, actually. I mean, we record all of our shows in Toronto. And I mean, as you can tell from the recording, the quality is always great, but one never knows what the performances are going to be like, Basically, we throw them together. So yeah, I had, I wasn't counting on it at all. And having all this time during the lockdowns, I started combing through our archives, and I was really blown away by the quality of the performances and quality of the recording. So I thought, why not?
Absolutely. I think there are so many strands to this. There's the arrangement. Well, let's start with the choice of songs, which is interesting. Then there's the arrangements, which are very interesting because they're not the way Leonard Cohen originally recorded them, most of them. Then there's the performances, which are stunning. And then there's the whole recording. So let's start by talking about how you chose the tracks.
I actually let the singers choose the tracks. A handful, let's see. I mean, there were 16 songs that were performed. We only included 11 or 12 on the album. Here, let me turn my email off. So all of the songs, except for a handful, like A Singer Must Die, which was Gavin Breyer's chart.
Yeah.
And Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye, which was another Gavin chart, which didn't make it onto this album. Those charts were already around. But the rest, I invited the singers to choose. It was really important. I'm a huge Leonard Cohen fan, and I decided to do this tribute within a week of his passing in 2016. And I was very careful to only include people who were as fanatical about Leonard Cohen as I was, who had as deep an emotional attachment as I. So once I figured out who those people were, I let them choose the songs. I think I asked each one of them to choose 5, of which I would pick 3, because there were a number that were chosen by more than one person.
Of course.
Yeah. And, I wanted very also I wanted it to be a real mix of, his greatest hits and lesser known songs. So I guess ultimately I chose from the 5 that each singer chose.
Right.
And also I very deliberately excluded Hallelujah from the set list. And the recording that you hear on the album was completely impromptu. It was done as an encore. After one of the performances, Gregory really wanted to do that song. So I said, sure. So he and Stephen figured out who was going to do which verse. And all the playing that you hear on it is improvised by the band. I mean, which is a testament to the players. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting because actually, I know it's probably Leonard Cohen's most popular song, but that's for a reason because it is such a beautiful song. The lyrics are stunning.
They really are. But, there are so many incredible covers out there already. I thought the world doesn't need another one, just between Jeff Buckley and Katie Lang.
Right.
They're just stellar, their versions.
Yeah, they are. They really are. But this one is nice. And I like the 2 male voices together. Not together, but I like that.
And I think it's the only version I know. And again, this was Gregory and Stevens doing, but it's the only version I know that includes all 7 verses that have been recorded.
Right. Yeah, because obviously that makes it longer, and I guess usually a singer or the producer will go, well, it'll make it longer than 3.5 minutes or whatever. So yeah, wow. But that's wonderful. In fact, at this point in the podcast, I'm going to play a little clip of that because I think it is a nice version of Hallelujah, and the way it's just a new version, isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah, and it's profoundly personal and emotional, the performance. They really poured their hearts into it.
Yeah, clearly.
To a kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. 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 Oh, well, baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you, and I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Ah, but love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Well, there was a time when you'd let me know.
I'm going to start this podcast with Dance Me to the End of Love, because that's another song that's been done a lot, but I really like Sarah Harmer's version of it.
Yeah, me too. And I love the arrangement by Stephen McKinnon.
Yeah, that's gorgeous, isn't it?
It really is. And again, it's such a beautiful band performance, if I may.
Absolutely. So then I thought I would end the podcast with Anthem, because that's not one that's heard very often. So Sarah Slean, she chose that, obviously.
She did.
Yeah.
And that's from The Future, which is one of my favorite albums. And in fact, the original shows included a cover of The Future as well, which didn't make it to the album.
Right. I guess, like all these things, you can't get everything on that you would put into an evening, a concert. So, yeah.
No.
Okay.
And I wanted to choose the best performances as well. So
the album came out in September, I think.
Yes.
And have you toured any of it?
Yeah, we had a little tour in October. We did a couple of shows in Toronto and then shows in Stratford and Burlington. Yeah, they were all completely sold out. One of the singers, Sarah Harmer, could not be involved. So Tamara from a band called The Weather Station filled in for her, the lead singer. Yes, we got a chance to play them in public again.
The quality seems very good for a live performance.
The engineer that does all our live recordings is remarkable. His name is Earl McCluskey. So, that's the standard. So they were recorded over 3 nights. This Leonard Cohen tribute happened over 3 nights. The same 5 singers as you hear on the album. Each one of them did 3 songs live, plus the encore. There were also 15 writers involved in these tributes. 5 different writers each night. And again, I was very careful to make sure that they were all deeply connected to Cohen's poetry, and a number of them actually knew Cohen. And so their tributes consisted of, again, very personal, very intimate, 5 minutes. I said, either read your favorite verse or prose, or convey a deeply personal anecdote about Cohen.
Were you tempted to put some of those on?
It crossed my mind, but there's only so much room on an album,
Absolutely, yeah.
And only 2 of those 3 nights were recorded, so we only had 10 of the 15 performances by the writers, the poets.
Right.
Anyway, I chose not to.
Right, yeah. You have to make executive decisions, don't you, sometimes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the music, it's about,
Absolutely, and the music, they are lovely versions. And I like the Gavin Bryars. I interviewed Gavin for this podcast, and he was fascinating. Really was.
Well, I believe I made that introduction.
I think you did, yeah.
And Gavin shared the podcast with me, so I saw it.
Yeah, it was great. It was really nice. And in fact, I went to see him in Cambridge just a couple of weeks after I interviewed him, so that was really nice. So very good. So what has Art of Time Ensemble got in store in the coming months?
Well, we're developing a couple of big projects. There are going to be some performances in and around Toronto in the summer, but really this year is going to be dedicated to developing, we're creating a new version of Stravinsky's L'Histoire du Soldat.
Oh, beautiful.
And we're also creating what will be either an animated or an experimental film with music. The music is finished. It's just figuring out now which route to take visually.
Right. Yeah.
And planning, and planning for next season.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, well, it was really nice to talk to you about this. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
That's okay. Yeah, and let's make it less than 2 years before the next one.
I'll try to put something out there sooner.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, lovely to talk to you, Andrew. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Take care.
Okay.
The birds they sang.
I hope you enjoyed listening to that conversation with Andrew Burashko from Art of Time Ensemble. And that album, Songs of Leonard Cohen Live, has been out for a few months now. So this is Anthem. So I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation, and please do go on listening to all of my interviews with these amazing, inspiring musicians. from all around the world.
the holy dove.
And if you like what you hear from Harmonious World, do remember that you can support the show now. There's a subscriber tab. So wherever you get these podcasts, please do click and subscribe and help support the work that I'm doing to try and promote musicians, particularly those that maybe don't get heard regularly. Thank you for joining me once more for Harmonious World.
We asked for signs, the signs were sent. The birth betrayed, the marriage spent, the widowhood of every government. Signs for all to see. But I can't run no more.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.